All right, welcome in, folks, to the Keep It Moving podcast. I'm your co-host Mike, along with Singing Chuckia.
Every time I look, it makes me laugh.
What's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much, bruh. Living the dream.
Yeah, man. Just getting caught up on TV. I know this week we've been doing For All Mankind and Fargo. I caught up late on that. And then Slow Horses. Just all good series on right now. Across a
Yeah.
couple of different networks. So I don't know which one you want to start with. You want to start with like Slow Horses first?
Yeah. Let's start with Slow Horses. Ask you a question. Is this the best series on TV right now?
Mm.
It's the best series of the year. I know we're about to, in the next 3 weeks, we're going to get into our end of the year top 10 stuff. So,
which I'd already started working on, and then remembered, oh, that show was
too.
on this year. Oh, that show was on this year. And now I have to go back and rethink the whole thing because I forgot about the Bear and Silo.
Yeah, I think we have I was going to try to find the list from we need to use that spreadsheet that we made.
Yeah. It's definitely in the top 10. I have it in my top 10 for sure.
It's just so fun to watch.
It is. It's 6 episode seasons. It's pretty breezy. The comedic stuff is there with Gary Oldman just talking shit about everybody.
Yeah.
As he's like being filmed on camera. It's like he's not even acting. He's just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's pretty good. It's definitely my top 10.
Yeah, I think for sure. It's gonna be, I was worried with TV shows this year, but I really think that a lot of stuff was pushed back and to later in the year, pushed back to next year, but still a great year of TV.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, this episode we're episode 3, negotiating with tigers.
Yeah.
Or is that the name of the episode?
Yes, should be the name of the episode.
Lessons.
Yeah.
I think it's Hard Lessons. But yeah, we're halfway through and we learned what a tiger team is, and the tiger team has gone rogue because they want the Gray Book, a book of conspiracy theories. Now, have
that
you
the
done
government has investigated. Yeah.
Yeah, that the POC has investigated. Do you think this is something real? Did you look up if this is like an actual thing?
I didn't look it
Tiger
up.
Team, yes, we talked about it.
Yeah, we texted about tiger teams. Yeah. I did not look at the Gray Books. I got a feeling it is real. I mean, I think every government has this out there where they do their own investigative research and stuff like that. It's probably all like bullshit and debunked and everything. But no doubt, like every government has one of these, at least every major government.
Yeah.
So it's probably real. The name probably comes from like the 70s, like they started it in like 1970. So yeah, it's probably real. And for whatever reason, the Tiger team is like after this. So
yeah. And just a quick recap basically is last week we had basically River break into the park. We figure out it's a tiger team. Sean Donovan, who's the head of the tiger team, worked for Chieftains. Basically, now is double crossing his agency because for some reason he wants to fund the Gray Books, and they now don't give Standish back, and he kind of kidnaps
the other agent,
the other agent, and then so Standish is still kidnapped, and it seems like Sean Donovan's cohorts are just holding up in one of the girls' house. And so kind of Lamb seems the only one that's kind of figuring out what's going on. But we have the other 2 agents go to Donovan's house, Shirley and Marcus.
Yep.
And he just has stage 1 and stage 2 on the wall, like on
Yeah.
opposite walls of his house.
He's got the
You
red.
don't know
He's
where
got the
that's.
red string going from left to right, and yeah, it's he's all freaked out. And I love how
Yeah,
they just stumble onto it. And of course, Shirley's like, "I got to go to the loo to do a line of coke.
I
I'll be
gotta
right
go
back."
ketamine or something. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, and Cartwright's still held in the park, getting his
he's
ass
getting the
worked
shit beat
by
out of
the
him.
dogs. Um, Lamb gets him released, and like just typical shit talking fashion, and then River gets in the cab with him, and he's like, "Where are you going?"
Yeah.
Like, get out of my cab.
Where are you going? I
Um,
just told you I'm going up. Yeah, now get
yeah,
the hell out. Get your own cab. He's all like bloody and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he's got to like meet Louisa at Chieftain's headquarters, and um, uh, Lamb is on his way to go meet with. I like that he like ambushes the head of Chieftain, like that rich guy, Sly or whatever his name is.
Spider.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But he like gets in the guy's
The
Rolls
rich.
Royce.
Oh, the head. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So the
yeah,
at the lunch, yeah.
yeah, yeah. He crashes the lunch and
Where
all
would
of
a
that,
guy
and
go? Yeah,
yeah,
and it gets in his car, farts in his car,
yeah, he lights
and
his
brilliant.
smoke. He's like, "Should I leave this
Yeah.
for you? It'll help with the smell." Yeah,
Well, then we find out Spider was like behind the is now where is like head of um like the ops at Chieftain, I guess,
yeah,
working for Sly and all that. Um and like he set up the whole bridge thing and everything's a fake. But now, he's or he's not, maybe it's not Chieftains, but he's head of he's command and control executive officer somewhere. Or maybe
yeah,
it's Chieftain.
yeah.
But
It's Chieftain. Yeah,
yeah, so he basically taunts River or taunts the slow horses about it, and then he's gonna go. Sean Donovan calls him and is gonna go negotiate with him, uh, or basically what offers him money and
yeah. His
tells
boss
him to
tells him,
fuck
"Just give
off.
him your
And
bonus, asshole. Like
yeah,
it's your
yeah.
problem." Yeah,
And Donovan fucking smashes his head in and kills him. Not on purpose, obviously, but now we got a whole different situation.
yeah.
And and then basically takes him and dumps him in the middle of the street, right in front of, was it his office or where
It was
Lamb
a
and them were
restaurant.
at? Like,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was a restaurant where he was meeting with the defense secretary.
And then what is Lamb's line where the phone rings and it's Spider or whatever, and it's like, but this Donovan or somebody had the phone, but they're like, he says something about it being like, got a dead fucking corpse calling, or like, unless he's calling from beyond the grave, or he
Yeah.
says something. Lamb, it's just wild. This whole episode, he says two right, or and one conversation with Sly, I think he's like too fucking right, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
he's
I
just so
love that
brilliant.
phrase. Yeah. Yeah, Spider gets dumped in front of the restaurant, and he's just like, "Oh, looks like your boy's out there intimidating roadkill." And they're just like, "Oh my god." And he's like, "Wow, this wine is fucking great."
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
So he didn't take it serious at all. Like he was an asshole. Was rubbing it like right in like Spider's face and Louisa's, and then like 30
Yeah,
minutes later he's dead. So guessing that's the end of Spider. But now we got to still deal with the Tiger team, and obviously the slow horses are probably going to wind up helping them. That's somehow, I don't know.
yeah,
But I bet they get a hold of the Gray Books, and then it turns out to be It'd be cool if it's set up next season. I don't know.
What did you think that the gray books were at Slough House? That's kind of what I took away at the end of the episode because of all the filing and stuff they're sending over. I'm wondering if it's actually at Slough House.
That's a good point. It could be. That'd be a nice twist.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, it's in this box that River like never cataloged.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's because they made such a point of having her doing the boxes or giving them the boxes to catalog and basically just treating it like nothing. They're not paying attention to anything in it. So
Yep.
I'm thinking that's why they gave it to us, so they would like use it for offsite storage or something, and they knew they would never look through it because they don't want to be doing that job. I don't know.
She's all in this. Taverner's all like she's running the Tiger team that went off the books. She's running them on the side because this is all a way for her to get in charge of some other shit. Like she knows what she's doing, man. She's not dumb. Like
Yeah, when she still, I mean, she's been kind of brushed aside, obviously, and then I think Ingrid is her boss or the
yeah,
number that is in charge. So yeah, it's so good. I think it was just fun.
yeah. It's a fun show. And I'm glad I'm glad they do like 2 seasons a year. Just with the way they're cooking them and putting them out there.
Yeah,
And as long as Gary Oldman keeps going, I'm gonna keep watching because his shit is great. Um,
yeah,
he's what makes the show so funny. He carries it.
yeah. Quality, quality, quality show.
Yep. But yeah, man. That was Slow Horses. I don't have anything more about that one.
No, nothing else for me. It's a hard one to kind of walk through because it's so kind of fast paced and there's not
Yeah.
a lot of. I mean, there's stuff to ponder. We got 3 episodes and like where's it going and how are they going to get Donovan and you know we got Louisa still fucking and drinking like
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so
That's a
and
question.
still
Do
with
you
the
think
diamond. She still has the
her
diamond and the ice cream.
yeah, she still got the diamond. Do you think her biker one night stand guy is not who he says he is?
Yes, I think you're onto something. I haven't even thought about that, but yeah, there's nothing that they do that is out of place. Like it's
Right.
all he could be part of the Tiger team or working with Sean Donovan because Sean Donovan was with the lady in Turkey that was handing over at so yeah,
Nothing goes to waste
agreed.
in this show ever. No scene,
No.
no conversation, nothing gets wasted. Like I mean, he go like Lamb went into the like hero shop and like walks out with the knife. Like you think like him just going in there is for like just to get lunch,
Yeah.
and he like winds like everything he does has purpose. Everything the show does has
Mm-hmm.
purpose. So Jackie brought it up to me. She thinks he's involved somehow. So I was like, I got to start looking at it from that angle because it's possible. Maybe he's with the Russians and he's looking for that diamond.
Yeah. Yeah, he's up to something.
Yeah,
She's ran into him a couple times now, so
or he's
good
a
point.
spy like Sean Donovan was,
Yeah.
who was looking for that file on his girlfriend, and then she wound up dead. It's just spy on spy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spy versus spy.
also a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, good season. That leads us into what, Fargo? You want to do Fargo next?
Yeah, let's talk about Fargo, yeah.
The most complicated, wacky show, probably second only to Outer Range.
It's so weird because like we liked episode 4 or 3 the week before, like the kind of like supernatural and then also like a horror kind of film. And then this week it starts off like that to finish
So good.
and then it turns back into Fargo. Like it was such a bonkers. You can't even really talk about this episode without the last one, but
Yeah,
because it just combines together. We pick up at the where we kind of left off with Gator and his crew of flunkies
Yeah,
are trying to get Dot Nadine, and of course shit doesn't go right. It's like a comedy of errors, and then
yeah, they're just getting
like
home alone. It's amazing. Like one's
yeah,
taking a sledgehammer to the face. Her husband accidentally fries himself on the electric wire running across the window above the trellis. Like it's just a house full of like traps. It's great.
and then Gator sees Nadine and takes his mask like, "Hey, it's me," and she's like, "I'm disappointed in you," and they're just
Yeah,
like guessing that is like John Hamm's current wife is his third wife, so we know that he's had in this episode you find out he's had two previous wives that are both missing,
yeah,
right? So I'm assuming, my assumption, like I'm just going off the cuff here, first wife tried to leave him, like Gator's mom, 187'd her.
yeah,
Nadine actually got away and he's bringing her back to do the same, but he's sending flunkies
yeah,
that are never going to catch her. So it's kind of like, I feel like it's they're Charlie Brown and Dot's Lucy, and she's just like setting the football up and just pulling the football like from them every
yeah,
time.
yeah. Why are you
Yeah, poor
sending like
Wayne.
boys to do a man's job? Like,
Yeah,
just go get her or just go kill her. Like,
yeah,
like, why do you have to make a big deal like out of sending like idiots? Like, you already know Gator's a fuck up.
yeah, yeah. And then we they leave, basically the house is on fire. Wayne's electrocuted.
Yeah,
Um, then you see Jon Hamm having a conversation with Jesus on the cross in
that is chapel.
his
Yeah,
vestibule, his chapel.
yeah,
And he's talking about other situations seeing Beelzebub, and dude, I could listen to Jon Hamm just like,
just
he
riff.
has two really good scenes in this episode where he's talking to Jesus on a cross, and then he's ready to go inside to confront the devil, and tells a story about walking into a situation where a guy had like basically chopped up and murdered his family, and is just sitting there in the house, kind of like drinking coffee or whatever. Um,
And he like
and he
walks
saw
in
the
and like,
devil on his shoulder.
yeah, the devil was like whispering in his ear. It's just
Yeah,
yeah, he's just monologuing. It's amazing. Yeah,
yeah, it's fantastic. And so we expect something similar, but we come in, and this time we see Ula, the devil, had
yeah,
basically just painted some weird symbol on the wall in the girl's room, and the girl's like has no, like, he went sight unseen into the
yeah.
room,
He managed to
right?
get through the house without like waking anybody up. Right, but he killed a guard that was like guarding the house and like made
Yeah,
it in, and like you think he's just gonna like slaughter everybody, but only
yeah,
just like leaves that sign that like I can get at you anytime, like it doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, that like leaves Jon Hamm like pretty like unsettled um and probably pretty scared. But I thought that was a pretty good scene because it's like there's like footprints like walking through the house and it's all bloody and
yeah.
goat blood and shit. Yeah,
Well, yeah, and he's real, and he's like, his singular focus is like Gator and Roy. It seems like at this point.
yeah, yeah. And then that leaves then Wayne is in the hospital recovering, and the cops show up to question his wife. But of course, that's when like Danish, which is great because the next episode makes fun of him for being named after a pastry.
Oh,
Um,
did you see the next one already?
yeah, I'm halfway through it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
oh
yeah. It's so
okay.
good. But yeah, Danish and yeah, they're like in the lobby, and like her mother-in-law is like, yeah, we don't talk to cops. Like this is Danish. Like talk to him, and he's like, we have nothing to say. Thanks. Um,
And it's like this in what is the cops say? Like, this is the reality, and he's like, we create our own. We
Yeah,
create our own reality.
we
Like,
have our own
it's like
reality.
we
Yeah,
have our own reality. It's like,
that's
so
such great lawyer talk. It's so good.
yeah, and then he gives Scotty $100 bill to go to the vending machine.
Go break 100, kid.
It's so
Yeah,
detached from reality. Uh, and then Doc goes in there, and Wayne wakes up, and is just like, wife, like,
he's
or
like
what?
so out of it.
Yeah, but it's like he's got some kind of, I'm assuming, temporary amnesia, and he's just excited that he has a wife, but we're gonna see how that plays out,
Yep.
going forward. And does Wayne actually stay like out of it, or does he like try to figure out what's going on? Because I'd be pissed for him if I'm him, going like, why don't you just tell it? It's just trying to contrast it to season 2, and with Kirsten Dunst and um the Jesse Plemons, right? And he was kind of the lovable oaf that kind of was cleaning up his wife's mess. And in this case, like, Dorothy has a past, but there Kristen Dunst was telling Jesse Plemons like everything, and he was kind of cleaning it up. She doesn't let Wayne know, so Wayne sees what's going on in the house, but doesn't understand why she's doing it, or and it's like,
Yeah,
I
he's like
mean,
willingly being blind. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever
yeah,
you say. Yeah, he's
yeah, because
pretty beta.
the thing there, I mean, the mother-in-law saying like, all you have to do, and I mean, Dot has to say, hey, I had an ex-husband before, he's after us, like, and then they'll have all kinds of protection. I mean, they were, what, she told Danish to bring in, like, was it last episode, this episode, was like the team they used in uh the protection team they used somewhere else, right? So like,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure these people would be in good shape if they protected them, but
I have to
you know,
imagine that if Dot told Lorraine, like her mother-in-law, like, look, yeah, this guy's my ex-husband. He's sending guys after me. He used to beat me. He was gonna kill me, so I fucking ran away. She probably gained more respect from the mother-in-law than just not telling her. And plus, the mother-in-law could
yeah,
probably just put out a hit on fucking Tillman anyway.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Say I had to change my name,
yeah,
all this stuff because, and then so um
yeah. And then like, Tillman is like on the verge of getting caught for all this shit anyway, right? Because like the feds, they're just hilariously like bumbling around this whole show. They're the two feds
every
from
season.
Die Hard. Like,
Well, but I mean, you remember Key and Peele were the two feds in was it season 3
yeah,
with Fargo?
yeah,
Like, and they're sitting outside while like the IRS offices are being fucking like butchered, or whatever. Like, they're just inept and bumbling, right?
yep.
And then our two here go to the judge, and the judges. It was interesting political commentary because it's almost like Trump now. There's like, well, we'll wait till next election, maybe he'll lose. It's
And then
like,
we'll just
yeah, because
sweep
then
it
we
all
won't
under
have
the
to.
rug. Yeah,
Yeah, but they're like,
yeah. You want me to go after a sheriff whose father, grandfather, great grandfather, and great great grandfather were all sheriffs in the same county, who's backed by the
yeah,
militia? You want me to do that shit? No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
be Ruby Ridge in this motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, the judge is like, "No, I'm out. Let's just he might not get reelected. It's fine." So yeah,
Yeah,
nobody wants to go up against Tillman. It's great.
yeah, and the end of this episode is great because freaking Roy goes and visits Johnny Beats his wife again,
Yep.
and the wife's obviously hasn't been doing her biblical duties, or maybe she has, but this dude likes to just beat up on the wife,
I think he's
but
just a drunk. Yeah. She might have
yeah,
done her duties or whatever, but yeah, I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
guy's just a drunk and I like that he's like on the couch, like just chilling, and Jon Hamm is in a chair, like with a cup of coffee. It's fucking great.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, John Hamm, especially this episode, steals the show.
Yeah,
He was just
this
too great
this scene in the
scene.
church scene, right? Because like this scene, he's like
Hmm.
talking about some parable in the Bible or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. He's
so
talking
fucking good.
biblical names of people, and
Joshua.
it was just
Yeah,
Joshua. Yeah,
yeah,
and I think
yeah,
isn't that the guy's name? Maybe
yeah.
too,
It was
but
Joshua. Yeah.
um,
Oh,
yeah. So and they ends up just goading on Joshua, and like he knows, he shows his gun, he's pointing his gun at John Hamm. He's just he knows this is all he knows what he's going to do, and he's trying to get him
draw
to
first.
shoot or draw
Yeah,
first, and
yeah.
then it's great. Gator comes in the room and is basically like, and they're like, "All right, that was the guy who shot. Uh, was it? Um,
Oh, the other deputy, and yeah,
yeah, or that was the guy responsible for everything, and
yeah. That's
you
Munch.
know,
That's who we've been looking for. Yeah,
Munch. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So now they're like, the wife's like, this is what happened, and we're gonna take care of you and pay you, and
Yeah,
so
first of the month, every month. Because Roy Tillman don't forget nobody. Like,
yeah,
and then like I love how they're having this whole conversation about like we're gonna blame this guy for everything that's going on, like right in front of his like his surviving wife. And then like he's like, how did it go, Gator? Like, did you get her? And he's like, don't tell me, I can see it all over your face. Gator's an idiot. It's so great.
Gator don't play.
Yeah.
Gator
Uh
can't play. He's an idiot.
yeah. So good. Joe Keery killing it in that role. It's so funny. But yeah, the one part we missed was like we saw like Munch is in the tub, like with blood and like mud all over him, and he's like spouting some verse or I don't story. I couldn't tell where it was from. And the old woman is like, "What do you want from me?" And he's like, "Pancakes."
You know what that was from, right? That was from the Fargo movie too.
Oh, was it really?
The big blonde Norwegian. He wants
That's right.
pancakes. When
That's
they're
right.
at the
Yeah, he
restaurant,
always
I
wanted to
think.
go to IHOP, and Steve Buscemi
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"Fuck that." Yeah,
yeah. I want pancakes.
that's pretty
But it's
good.
fucking crazy, right? Like, do you think that's his actual mom?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Like, is there just a tribe of old women that like these sin eaters go like and get like motherly love from? Like, or like, is there a network of sin eater hosts that travel through time to stay with? Like, I don't understand the whole thing, but
I'm gonna go the weird route and say like as a sin
yeah,
eater, he can tell like who he can manipulate to some degree. She's obviously like
yeah,
she's old, she doesn't work. All she does is drink all day and watch TV,
yeah,
which means she like
yeah,
has nobody and is probably pretty burned out and probably like
yeah,
has some like regrets. And he's like,
yeah,
I can use that to my advantage. And she also
yeah,
wants like companionship, no matter how fucked up it is. So I'm gonna go this weird route that he can tell that like she's not gonna do anything. He like knows that. I don't know.
yeah,
No relation. No relation. He's just crazy, and she's just like borderline dementia. Yeah,
yeah. I don't think they know each other, or I don't think they're related. There's something weird.
yeah. But such a good episode. Jon Hamm killing it with two like monologues, like about like biblical shit. So I tell you,
Yeah,
he might win an Emmy for this role.
yeah. He's very good. He's often forgotten and underappreciated, I think, but he's great.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Anything
Any other?
else on Fargo?
No, I got nothing else on Fargo, man. Just a banger, as always, as we
Yeah,
expected. I was. After season 4, I was a little worried, but they figured out they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, last one, For All Mankind.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, we've got a couple of things going on. We like to keep it pretty much in track with, the different locations. We've got, Earth in relation to NASA and, the government piece. And then you've got, Earth and the private sector with Helios. And then you've got Mars, right? So I'll just
Mhm.
jump in with the Earth piece. This was episode 5. It was called Goldilocks. And that's ultimately what they name that the asteroid that's been found, which is what they assume for now, right? There's no like full guarantee, but they're assuming for now that it's filled with iridium based on readings and all this stuff. I'm gonna laugh when it has nothing in it. That'll be fucking great. What do you got?
It's not an asteroid. It's really the North Korean guy's wife. Sorry. Well,
It's a capsule with his
Ilya
dead wife in it.
or Danny. It's Danny Stevens. They launched him. We'll talk more about that, but they launched his dead
That's
body
great.
into space.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
all right, go
Um,
back to the recap.
yeah, yeah. No, I thought it was cool. They opened right with the space telescope, which is the James Webb telescope. That's what's actually out there now. It's called the Payne telescope, which is a former head of NASA. So it's a cool nod. And they're estimating that the asteroid is worth somewhere in like the $20 trillion range in mineral
Yeah,
resources and stuff like that. So it's a gold mine, and apparently iridium is highly sought after for like economic development and this is what I like, technological advancement. They mentioned that.
yeah.
So if we get a hold of that, imagine there's a huge jump in the next season, but we'll get to
Mm,
that. Yeah, the Russians are upset about it because they're the largest supplier of iridium, and they see it as a threat to their control over the global economy, much like
yeah,
oil and stuff like that. Right now it's minerals, right? It's stuff that can grow the economy as opposed to energy. So that's really cool that they're taking it that way.
mm,
Um, Eli, the head of NASA, wants to tread lightly. And like Al Gore is just like screaming down his ear about how like he wants to take credit for it and all this shit, but Eli knows this could like really upset the M7 balance and all this if they don't go after the asteroid together. And then Al Gore, of course, being Al Gore, like takes credit for like discovering the asteroid, and it just pisses off the Russians. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
that was brilliant. Like Al Gore on TV going like, "I discovered the thing," like you discovered the internet in real life. Like this show does it really well of taking real scenarios and tweaking them, and they did this perfectly with Al Gore.
So
And
good.
it's kind of like Al Gore is like this real hard ass. Like it almost seems like he would be a big pushover, you
Yeah,
know, um, like in real life now, but in the show he's like all pissed off at
I got a re-election coming up.
Daniel
This
Stern's
could screw
character.
my thing. Like, yeah. By the way, I discovered the asteroid. Yes, I did that. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Was there anything else with the Russians and NASA in at least the public sector in relation to this episode?
Um,
Margot, did I miss anything with Margot?
I think basically they're I may be dreaming it, but I think like the Russians were basically gonna. I don't know if it was in a meeting or whatever, but they're basically saying they're gonna try to do this on their own, or it may have
Yeah,
been, or they're threatening to do it on their own. Um,
I think they pretty
because
much
of
left
the
the episode up to like after Al Gore did his thing and Eli
yeah,
can't negotiate
yeah,
jack shit for the most part. That the Russians are basically using the strong hand and saying, "Fuck it, we're going to do it on our own."
yeah, yeah. So I think that was the
Oh yeah,
main stuff,
and
but
yeah, and the head of the Roscosmos wants to have a meeting about the allocation of the meteor if they work together or some shit in
Yeah,
Moscow. And he's like, no, 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 no way. And she's like, nah, then you can go fuck yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And guess who gets to go to? Guess who's going to Moscow now, baby?
Alita.
So, yeah. The other one of the other big things is Dev's going to go to Mars,
Yep.
and
Yeah, he's like,
Kelly's going to go with.
got to have boots on the ground. I got to be up there to like control this thing. You know, I'm gonna leave. You know, it's a competition to see who gets there first, and of course, Helios is like one of the three major heads of this whole thing, even though it's a private, institution. Um, he wants his slice of pie, and so he's like, got to have boots on the ground. I want that to be the forefront. Kelly, we're not ditching the robotics thing. I want you to be there to pioneer it and train the team on the way because we're expediting the whole thing. So you got to be you got to go. You got to go. And she's like,
And Alita, you don't have the experience and you're not charismatic, but you're going to be the one negotiating all the deals back on Earth.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I give you my
it,
I give
it's
you my DOA. You have full autonomy to steer the company in whatever direction. Yeah,
it's very Elon Musky of this whole thing with Dev, except for the part where he's like, Alita, you're going to negotiate everything with the M7, and where Elon Musk would be like, hey, I'm going to do it from the space shuttle on my 3 month journey. I
yeah,
invented this new technology where we can do it live. Fuck
yeah.
it, we'll do it
Instant
live.
communication between here and Mars. I don't understand why that hasn't been developed yet.
Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see where we end up. And I think I called that Kelly would be going to Mars. Now,
You called it.
now I am gonna. Are we ready to jump to the end of the episode? I don't know. We gotta talk about Kelly returning
We'll
to
circle
Mars, but
back to
we'll
that.
come back to that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this
He's
is a
gonna
whole
leave.
nother.
Yeah, he's gonna leave Earth, right, Dev, and he doesn't tell anybody else. He just announces it like on
Yeah,
the radio that like I'm peacing out. I'm going to Mars. Mars or bust. And then like you see him
he
go talk
tells
to
his
his crazy
mom
mom.
at,
Yeah,
at the Kenya Center for People Who Learn Good.
yeah.
Um, it's like, hey, mom, I haven't
She's,
seen you in an undisclosed amount of years.
yeah,
Like, it's very interesting because it's like opposite parallel of like Elon Musk is estranged from his dad, and they became estranged as adults because I don't know. There's all this back and forth, but it's like it's too musky for me. I'm
it's
almost
pretty
done
musky.
reading his book, and it's very musky.
Yeah,
So, um,
yeah. He's like, Mom, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. And she's like, you could. Why do you have to like change that world? You could stay and change
yeah,
this world.
you
And
could
he's
do
like,
good in this.
I'm out. This world
Now,
is
fuck,
lost.
someone was mean to me one time, so
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna go play spaceman.
yeah. Yeah, I love how he leaves Alita in charge and like the first day or whatever she's in charge, she's supposed to meet with some government guy and he's like, "Cool, read the briefs." And she doesn't. She says,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, I did the like try to fake her homework, but it's like, no, it's not gonna fly." So she's gonna be
yeah,
the
you
one that
can't.
has to go to Moscow, which is hilarious. She's gonna be like a minnow in a fucking Shark Tank.
Dude, this is what it's set up to do, man. Because do you think she knows that Margot is there?
I think she does. After her talk with Piss Pants, and they talked about her just she felt like what she had to do, blah blah blah. She betrayed her country. I think she knows that she's in Russia. She may not know that she's at Roscosmos now, but that will be a very interesting reunion for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if Margot will know that Alate is coming.
That's a good question. Could be a surprise.
Yeah, there's so many great storylines coming out of this episode.
Yeah, maybe she'll show her washer in the soda in the coffee machine trick. Yeah, she's learned a lot since he's been in Russia. How to scam the system.
So this is my apartment. This is where I get bread. Now we have to wait in line.
This is where I fill up my hot water bottle. Yeah.
We only have hot water, cold water.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, then that leaves Kelly, and she's like, "Oh, I want to take my kid," and Dev's like all shaken up, and he's like not even looking at her, and he's like, "Bring him. Who cares? That's fine."
Okay.
Now that leaves us with Mars.
Well,
Uh,
this is what I want to talk about, Kelly.
yeah,
I when she starts talking about it, right? And obviously Dev's in his feelings about his conversation with his mom and then like what his dad sacrificed, but his dad wasn't around, and this is all if you this is like almost stolen from Musk's life going out on his own at like 17 to the US and you know, but it's like chasing chasing validation from a parent. And so Kelly's like, I want to take my son with me because he has like America's disease, and if I go to Mars, he'll be
oh yeah,
cured because he can breathe, or his heart won't have to pump as hard. And you were texting me stuff about it, you know, outside of in our friendly chats, but um, it's like Dev was already lined up and like go for it. We have the suits and we have the resources. Like, have you thought about putting a child, sending children to
yeah.
Mars to
I don't
work
think
or
you
something?
have
Like,
like suits for kids. I haven't seen any kid walking outside on the surface of Mars. Like that's gonna be interesting.
oh, Glenn.
And Dev is like, I'll make it on the way. Don't worry about it. I got my sewing kit.
I mean, can you imagine? There's probably going to be like, I mean, if this was real life, the Russian grandmother would have like an injunction, and
Oh,
then and then like then we haven't talked about it yet, but Ed like basically gets grounded by Danielle up on Mars, and we'll talk more about it. So, like, is he gonna go home now and like they're gonna pass each other on the shuttle, or is Ed just gonna become the babysitter
it's gonna be like this.
because he has well, Ed has shaky hand disease and he can't fly anymore? Talk about I thought one moment we passed up that guy Palmer, I think his name was, came forward to basically
Yeah,
rat out Ed and like talked about how much of a hero he was to him, and but he like it's kind of like did it for the good of the mission and the good of the country, and like
safety first.
I think that was really cool because I mean, especially to do that to someone's
Yeah, your
hero,
idol,
and like
right? Your hero. You're like, oh yeah, I gotta put this lame dog down. I just happen to look up to him. Yeah.
so I expect one day while we're at our current jobs, like 5-ish years, you go to management like he's lost his fastball. I really think we need to force him into retirement. Give him the best package that we can. Okay.
It's time
I
to
want you to
shut the
remember
door.
that. I want you to remember this moment because at some point I'm going to lose my fastball. And I don't want to be Ed, where I think like I can still fly space trains, space mobiles, space shuttles, and I'm going to fucking kill everybody because now
And
what is this?
accidentally
What is
crashes
this?
the whole meteor into Happy Valley in like a nuclear explosion.
What does this do to the report by the Russian dude that got 187? Margot was like, "Oh, it's a Russian design," and now they get wind like, "Oh, they got to stand Ed down because like
He's
he's
got a
got the
trimmer.
shakes and
Now he's like
and
criminally liable. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think something's gonna come of that and turn there. I mean, if I'm kind of thinking about it, but
Maybe
I don't know.
maybe the season ends with Ed standing trial in Russia, and his punishment is by hanging, and his last words are "fuck you, commies." The ultimate
He
American
was already on
sacrifice.
trial once, or he already talked in front of a Senate
Yeah,
subcommittee in season 1 or
right.
2. So
Yeah, Mars. Yeah, don't forget about Billy Baton Rouge. He's still working for Ilya, and
yeah,
he's like, "Hey,
he's
what about
two-time
our
in Ely. He's
Korean?"
working for himself.
Yeah, he's like shipping in, shipping out. Like he's doing the export or the import export part. Um, yeah, Ilya just wanted to focus on the import and not so much
Yeah,
the export. Yeah.
export. Yeah, yeah. And
um,
Billy Bad Rouge is shipping home, Space Ruby still, and Ilya doesn't. For the guy that can get everything and knows everything, doesn't know that he's doing that, even though BBR was keen on that.
yep.
Um, but Ilya discovers in one of the shipments coming back, it's wrapped in a newspaper, like socks were wrapped in a newspaper, and the newspaper had like
Oh,
moon jewelry,
it was the Chronicle.
Galleria, the Houston Post, the Houston Chronicle. Again, it was like that's a
It was a Sears ad.
Marks
Yeah.
and W. Marks Jewelers, the local Houston jewelers. It's like authentic space rubies, and then we see like BBR talking to his wife and kids, and they've like bought this humongous house. It's like, oh, look at our bedroom. Oh wait, I mean my bedroom. And it's like,
Yeah.
he's like, this is all worth it because you know what fixes broken marriages? Money. Money always fixes it. Don't worry, you'll be happy the rest of your life. So
Till he gets back and he loses all of his money in the lotion game again.
he goes back. He's like goes with his buddies to LeBurge one weekend, like Charles, and like he's like, oh man, I got the best hand ever in poker. You take space rubies, and he puts them all on the table and loses. It's like, oh man, she's gonna be pissed.
He loses it all on the craps table. Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, he's shipping back this space. How? Yeah, his wife is just buying a new house. Like, I'm sure the
Yeah,
IRS is going to come knocking at some point. Like, come on.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, Ilya wants nothing to do with it, and then like tells him like, "Oh yeah, we can't bring up the Korean's wife; it's too risky." And he's like, "Well, just
yeah,
keep him happy. Just keep telling him we're working on it. She's probably already dead." Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's not going to turn out well. You're thinking about pissing off the North Koreans. It was like, it's too good. We got, or like customers. Yeah, guess how you're going to lose them by not
yeah,
bringing up this wife. But
unless Ilya's got like an end date. He's like, my, I'm leaving Mars forever in like 6 weeks, and if I just keep telling this guy everything's good, I can
yeah,
make as much cash as I can, and then fucking leave.
true,
Yeah,
true.
and then I'll leave Miles holding the bag, and then he can get tortured by the Koreans. Yeah. Um, yeah, and then like the whole Ed thing happens where he gets, they're doing the exercise and the guy sees his hand. Um, and of course he and Danielle are like at odds because she shipped Ed's girlfriend back to Earth to stand trial in India. And she's like, "You're emotionally
And
compromised."
yeah, and finally, like the lay all the cards out on the table, and I mean, you kind of sense that for years that she's been like, I mean, they're two different people, and he's like cowboy up, and she's smart and measured, and
Yeah,
um, he's been putting. I mean, it's kind of almost kind of as you think about the real space program of how through the moon missions and like in the 60s they were like pioneers, and they were like the best of the best pilots, and like they were doing shit right. Now everything is so it's graduated to become so methodical,
yeah,
and so many launches, and so many. It's still a cool thing, but it's not like, you know, just a wild like three Air Force pilots that like fought in World War II and like we're doing loop de loops and shit. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
the
like a
the stakes
scientist,
are
a botanist, a robotic, you
yeah.
know, and it's like everything is charted electronically. Everything is, you know, all measured. There's no kind of room for it's all procedural. There's no room for
Cowboy.
off the cuff or cowboy up, and he's
Yeah.
got that mentality. And I
There's
mean,
so
if you
much at
reach a
stake.
certain age, it's gonna
Yeah, with like the
blow up.
Russians are there and the Koreans are there. The whole M7 right is riding this, and Ed is just like, just give me the gun, I'll go out and I'll fucking kill the alien and I'll come back. And they're like, no, 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 hold on.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah,
um, yeah, he just wants to. He just thinks it's like he's the big dick on Mars and he can just do whatever he wants, and it's not fair that like people get sent back just because blah blah blah, even though like he's in love with her. And Danielle's like, yeah, there's
yeah,
bigger things going on here. That's why I'm in charge and you're not. And like she can see
yeah.
above the shit. So
He's Bill Cosby.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, and I guess the last thing that we have is Danny. We kind of figure out what happened to Danny.
Yeah,
Um,
Danielle keeps having flashbacks, right, to when they were on Mars for like that whole year without any support because they like fired Kelly off in a rocket,
yeah,
like strapped to her ass and like pregnant, and they're just left there for like a year just having to ration their food, which I love how they did it because like they show them like as like her like reflections progress, like they
hmm,
keep getting like thinner and like more malnourished and stuff
yeah,
like that. That was really good, like
yeah,
uh costuming and
yeah.
stuff like that.
And
But yeah,
is it is interesting though that like you know, and then Danny's begging to come back, and I'm guessing that like you know, because I think if Ed, you know, it shows it from Danielle's perspective, because I'm guessing Ed would have broke down and let him back because he has a kid and
of
wife,
course.
and so it's
But
he
that's
blames Danielle for his death and she blames herself.
yeah. Yeah, she like
And
throws
why
it. He
not?
like throws it in her face, and she tells him to fuck off. Like so good.
Yeah,
But that's what I like about this
yeah,
show is like it's a frontier, right? Like you're on a planet alone. There's like seven of you. Like there are no doctors. Like there's no room to maneuver.
yeah. This is Westward Ho. This is the Wild West. This is
Yeah,
yeah, and this how they deal with justice as well. I mean, it's
like
for the
on
good
Earth
of
you would have.
the seven on there.
Yeah, on Earth you'd have never left him in like solitary confinement that long because he literally was
Yeah,
going crazy. But on Mars, like you made a decision and you had to stick by it. Because imagine if he came back and he just fucking slaughtered everybody. You just
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. That's the thing. You let him back, and one night he just opens the hatch, and you all get, you know,
Sucked out. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just because he's, you know, whatever. He's had mental problems.
Yeah. He's
So
lost it. Yeah.
yeah, that was good. It's such a good, even when it's dumb, it's really good.
Yeah.
So, have we missed anything?
No, I think it was really cool. The only thing I have is, they talked about Kelly's baby, her son,
Mm,
who was conceived on Mars and, developed for a period on Mars and in space, in zero gravity on the way back to Earth. Because I think she gave birth to him on the ship ride back. I don't remember. But this like is a whole theory about being born on another planet and not being able to adapt to the gravity and the atmosphere of your like
yeah,
home planet, right? Earth, right? Because
yeah,
like on Earth, he has like respiratory problems and his heart, is having a hard time keeping up with all this stuff. And they talk about like, oh, if like I've talked to like physicians, and if I take him back to Mars, his heart won't be so much of a problem, and this and that and this and that. That's like crazy good like science because I've read that in sci-fi books and theory. I've read theories about it and stuff like that. It's never been
yeah,
proven yet, but so cool. Jackie and I had some debate about it about about how soon it would affect a person in the same generation or if it would take a few. But I'm under the belief that it would be the same generation. Um,
well, yeah. I mean, he was. he was born above the ship that was outside of Mars,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
he's a stranger in a strange land. He wasn't born on Earth. So
exactly.
whether it's recycled air and with no gravity and whatever, he wasn't, even though he's a human species, he's not an earthling, and he's a stranger in a
Gravity,
strange land.
to not to harp on Interstellar so much that we love to do, but damn, it's a great movie. Gravity
Mm-hmm.
crosses all things, right? So imagine
Yeah,
a fetus being developed in a place outside of Earth's gravity that's not the same. Mars's gravity is like a third of what it is on Earth. Like it's crazy to think
yeah.
that. So imagine like tissue and muscle being developed in an atmosphere that's
In the
not
womb.
having to
I mean, in
develop
the
to,
womb, yeah.
yeah. Like
The
just
baby's
because it's in a
developing in the
human,
womb on Mars. Yeah,
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 it's still on a different planet, totally different. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's that, and then the kid going. I mean, going back to Mars is fascinating to
Oh, I
me.
can't wait.
Like,
Yeah. How
it's
is that
gonna
kid
be.
not
I
a
mean,
rock
it's just,
star?
yeah. This is where in the current world today he would be like Ted, like the teddy bear from Ted. It would
Yeah.
just be this famous thing on talk shows,
Yeah, and we
and
doing
then he'd
Johnny
be like,
Carson every
"I'm just
Tuesday.
a baby," yeah, like,
Yeah. He's
So
like he'd be like the kid from completely underrated movie, Downsizing, the first kid born to downsized parents. Like kid would be a rock star.
yeah, or the kid from Jerry Maguire. The human head weighs 8 pounds. Sorry,
Exactly.
Jonathan Lipnicki.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. This show has some really good underlying foundations that they put over with, put over, stories with. But I love what the show does. So good.
Yeah,
Any other
for
thoughts?
real. No, no, nothing else on that. Just said we got our end of the. I think end of the year coming up. We'll talk about our some point in the next couple of weeks. Talk about our like best of.
Yep.
That's gonna be hard to rank. There's a bunch of good stuff coming out in the new year, including True Detective Night Country. I didn't watch
Yeah.
the HBO vignette yet.
Oh, I haven't either.
They came out with their 2024 like kind of little trailer.
Yeah.
And, it has House of the Dragon, has Industry, one of my favorite shows, has come back for season 3,
Nice.
which is great. So a lot on the horizon. Still got a lot of shows to finish up this year that, like you mentioned, you're watching Boys, rewatching The Boys,
Yep.
and I'm about halfway through Beef and a little bit through The Gold with Jack Loudon. Um, I want to try to run through some of the other ones that you've seen by the end of the year, so we'll see if that happens. Um, but yeah, so much going on. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I'll have some time off to be able to watch some shows and fish. Hopefully,
Yeah. With the holidays coming up, we should have a little bit more bandwidth. And, I thought we were, I think we were a little worried there with the lull because of the writer's strike. And maybe
yeah,
we'll get more of that in next year now that some of the shows are being
yeah,
put back into production that aren't done yet. But there's been some good shows. I'm already looking forward to doing the top 10. I already started
yeah,
working on it, as I said. So we'll have to make sure we get the same list because I have forgotten some shows and I'm like, oh shit, I got to factor that in somehow. So yeah, I'm
yeah,
really looking forward to that episode that we do. But yeah, man,
yeah. Cool, cool.
appreciate everybody for kicking with us this week, and be sure to check out the website and the Instagram and all the platforms that we're on, and share us with your friends and stuff like that. Send us suggestions for shows we need to watch. We always love getting new feedback and new ideas because that's maybe we miss a show that other people are talking about. So check us out on there. Until next week, appreciate everybody for kicking it with us, and as cousin likes to say.
Peace. Hang loose, brother.